And welcome back. A 35-year-old male is in hospital in serious condition on Grand Bahama after he was stabbed in the early hours of this morning. Police say sometime around 12:23 Tuesday morning, the victim, along with his friend, they were standing on the outside of a business establishment when an unknown male walked between the pair of them, which resulted in a verbal dispute. The argument escalated into a physical altercation, resulting in the suspect producing a knife and stabbing the victim multiple times about the body before fleeing the scene. Subsequently, the victim was transported to the Rand Memorial Hospital, where he is listed in serious condition. Police investigations continue into that matter. The government is one step closer to legislation of marijuana. Attorney General Senator Ryan Pinder telling reporters that the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Dowell, is currently doing his final review of the papers.
The Minister of Health is doing his final review of the Cabinet paper and the suite of legislation and a presentation that we have prepared to go to Cabinet. And as soon as he signs off, we'll have it on the Cabinet agenda.
As for a timeline, the Attorney General says he has hopes that he will be able to secure a signature from Dr. Dowell on the proposed suite of legislation for Cabinet revision today. The Minister of Foreign Affairs and Public Service, Fred Mitchell, was part of the Prime Minister's delegation that traveled to London for the coronation of King Charles III this past weekend. On Monday, Minister Mitchell said he believes the Bahamas should strongly consider replacing King Charles III or the British monarchy as head of state. He laid the following argument before driving home his point.
We in the Bahamas are 50 years old. As a nation, that's quite young, and our leaders in 1973 came to an understanding with our colonial masters, the British, not to repudiate the forms and symbolism, and therefore retained exactly the same form of government that existed before 1973. The Constitution that we have now is filled with anachronisms, the idiosyncrasies of the day, where women were considered second-class citizens, and they built into it the soft power of the British governance forms and culture of the 19th century to make it almost impossible to change things today. So you have a situation where an institution which is utterly irrelevant to the life of ordinary Bahamians being supported 50 years later.
Minister Mitchell reminded that despite all of the glitz and glamour, the role of the king is essentially an hereditary, well-financed public servant job, and that it is the Prime Minister that truly governs. However, Minister Mitchell lamented that changes to the system of governance or the Constitution of the Bahamas makes no difference if the people who run the system do not protect the rules. With that said, he still feels that it is time to replace the monarchy.
So where does that leave us today and this Constitution of 1973 with King Charles III as the head of state of the Bahamas? It is time to have a Bahamian head of state, elected by the people or chosen by the representatives of our people. The state of affairs and the need for change 50 years later is, like Michael Manley used to say, impatient of debate. But even in so-called radical Jamaica, you will hear it said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or there are some more important things to do than constitutional change. But the stark reality is this. As benign as things look, as the monarchy appears, as unobtrusive and inexpensive as it appears, there has to be something wrong and rotten in the state of Denmark when a European leader is the embodiment of the state of dispersed Africans on far-flung islands in the Caribbean. Someday, some generation will have to fix this.
Just last week, Ambassador to the United States Wendell K. Jones was asked by TV talk show host Dennis Holy if the Bahamas is considering dropping the monarchy and becoming a republic. Ambassador Jones said there is an appetite among some Bahamians for this to happen, but many citizens would prefer to retain the monarchy. And finally, in the quest towards food security, the Bahamas, represented by Minister of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs, Clay Sweeting, along with his delegation, are attending the Agricultural Innovation Mission, or AIM, for climate change held in Washington, D.C. The global initiative, launched in 2021, is aimed to accelerate and increase investments in climate-smart technologies. Minister Sweeting shared his thoughts with representatives from 41 countries.
It is our firm belief that we cannot advance food security solutions without considering the impact of climate change. The Bahamas has made great strides towards food security, and as a developing country that sits in the realm of a hurricane belt, we are continuously looking to safeguard our food supply. My ministry, along with BAIC, has collaborated to launch the Golden Yoke project, and is aiming at making the Bahamas self-sufficient in egg production. This groundbreaking project, which is a partnership with Bahamian farmers, is pegged at over $15 million, which is a notable increase in agricultural investment that demonstrates the Bahamas government's commitment to transforming and reorienting the food and ag systems.
Minister Sweeting spoke of some of the initiatives the Bahamas has started in an effort towards food security and sustainability, such as the Golden Yolk Egg Production Initiative launched in February.
This project seeks to reduce egg imports by 100% and reduce the country's total ag imports by 1%. Additionally, the Bahamas government has sought to incentivize food producers by introducing Climate Smart Technology Encouragement Grant. This grant is available to farmers who are seeking new and innovative ways to boost climate resiliency and adaptation while increasing efficiency in production. The Bahamas government is committed through partnerships to discover innovative strategies to amplify and to transform its agricultural systems.
The summit is set to climax on Wednesday, May 10th, and is part of the build-up to COP28. And that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Dorino Saunders. Thanks so much for joining us.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.